Our new production facility is coming online. We spent the better part of most of last year, completely redoing it. It's geared towards aluminum intense vehicles as well as EV vehicles, and should definitely help us keep a forward advantage on not only the market, but also the upcoming vehicles coming out. We got Rivian last year, that certification, and there are other EV certifications on the market that we'll most likely be looking to get as well. And just trying to, stay ahead of the curve and make sure that we're able to service our customers and, do the right repair every time.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of the one and only Crash Course podcast. Hope you got to check out some of the tape from the last couple of episodes. 2 episodes ago, we had a pretty cool guest on, Brian Cohen, and we were discussing racing, the history of racing on Long Island, and we learned quite a bit of stuff. At least I did. Hopefully everybody else did. So if racing's your thing, cars are your thing, you like that kind of stuff, if that's a hobby of yours, or, you just like to follow it, it's a sport that you like to watch, if you like to participate in it. Well, it was pretty cool to find out from Brian that we do indeed have a drag strip. And it's so funny because I'm in back of this guy's truck. I'm following this guy on Sunrise Highway. He's got a big, huge cab in the back and big sticker, and it says, Long Island needs a drag strip. I'm thinking to myself, I hope this guy realizes we actually do have a drag strip. So that's what we talked about, and Brian was very instrumental in that. Apparently he was involved in the nuts and bolts of getting that thing out, getting that thing approved, getting that thing going. Like I said, I remember seeing the decals everywhere about how Long Island needs a drag strip. Well, we have a drag strip, folks, all right? So if you're hearing my voice and you live on Long Island, all right, hey, check it out, right? I think he said that they operate in August, sometime in August through, I believe, sometime in October. It's the usual environmental crap, and it's some kind of bird that runs around out there or something. I don't know, a bird or squirrel, something that they can't bother at certain times of the year. I have no idea. But at any rate, they do it, I think, like the middle, end of August through beginning or middle of October. And I really thought it was cool to find out that they do drifting. Right now, I don't know anything about this, right? I'm like, I'm like a dinosaur here. I said it all the time. I'm a prehistoric fixture here in time. But apparently, drifting is a new thing, right? I see YouTube videos on that, and of course, the jackasses do it in the street, and they fly into people and buildings and obstacles. So we don't want to do that, right? Nobody wants to do that. So I think what Brian was able to do was able to get this drifting thing done. It's it's pretty tight, it's pretty regulated, as would be expected for safety reasons and that. But listen, if that's your thing, man, I mean, you should look into this. All right, come on. We don't need this stuff on the street, right? That's not good for anybody. But I get it. All right, back in my day, we used to go up to 231 Deer Park Avenue, toward the end there, toward Babylon Village, right? If you guys live on the island, you know what I'm talking about. And back in my day, in the late 70s, when we were all driving, we had our fancy cars. Or we thought they were fancy. Everybody would think they're shit boxes today. The 71 Chevelles, the 72 Charger, the Plymouth Satellite, the Nova, the Box Nova, the Camaro, the whole thing. You had the Z28, the Trans Am, right? Remember that car from Smokey and the Bandit? Probably not, right? Because I'm dating myself again. But check it out anyway. It's a great movie, Smokey and the Bandit. Anyway, we had all these cars, and, well, guess what we would do? Saturday night, man, you'd be up in town on Deer Park and, flirting with the girls and, everybody showing off this stuff. And then late at night, you'd head down there toward the end of 231 and you'd line up and you'd race a guy. We raced for everything from, food to money to girls. You were impressing the girls. And it was fun. It was illegal. It wasn't legal. I think we thought it was, but it wasn't. And but the police were cool back then. I think they knew about it, and but they kind of, I don't know. At least I thought they played stupid. I mean, it was very rare that we got involved with the police. But it was dangerous and it was stupid, but we were young, and that's what you are. You're young, you're stupid, and you do stupid stuff, right? You think you don't. You think you figured it all out and you got everything and you understand everything. You got it all covered, but you don't. Anyway, moral of the story here is, hey, if you like drifting, that's the new thing. I get it. Get out there. All right. Get out to Brookhaven. Get out to, town of Brookhaven. I think more specifically, it's Calverton. I believe it's Calverton where the old Grumman Air Base used to be. All right. It's out there by the National Cemetery. All right. So look it up. Go online. I'm sure they have a website and everything like that. I think Brian said they did. All right. Check it out. All right. Long Island Drag Strip. They have a drag strip. They also do mini kart racing. So look at the segment that we did. Go to YouTube. All right. You can see me and Brian talking about it all. I think it's a big deal. I think it's really cool. I think it's an idea. I mean, listen, the history of racing on Long Island is rich and goes way back. All right. I grew up with it. I grew up by ISUP Speedway. So I thought it was really interesting to hear that he was able to work with a group of interested parties, and they were able to get that done, man. So, hey, Long Island does have a drag strip again. And also, if you're into the drifting thing or the mini kart or whatever it is, go-karts, go check it out, right? They have a little kid type of thing, too, where they have a mentorship program, I guess, where if you're, you have a young son or daughter, all right, and you're into it, I think they might be into that. Hey, they have a mentorship program, too. All right, hey, listen, folks, we're always looking to change things up here at Crash Course, right? Always trying to lighten it, a little leverage, a little joking, a little humor, all right? A little, what do they say? A little satire. So we have Spikey. Hey, how about Spikey? Everybody say hello, Spike. What's up, Spike? So every time you hear Spike speak up, that means you need to pay attention. It's a gimmick, I know, but apparently gimmicks work. All right, so Spike, say hello. Spike's a new gimmick. All right, so when you hear Spike, listen up. It means something cool's coming. So listen up. All right, so we're always looking to change things up, right? Keep it fresh, keep it light. Listen, if you've been following us since the radio days, or if you just, you got nothing to do and all of a sudden you stumbled on me, how you doing? Nice to have you. We continue to grow this thing. Thank you very much. Keep spreading the word. I just had somebody at my shop today. I just gave him all the handles, Crash Course Podcast. He said, yeah, I want to check it out. I've heard about it. So it's exciting. More and more people are hearing about this. I love it. And the mantra here, right? We're giving you information and knowledge you need and can use and advice you can trust. All right. And we've been living by that creed since practically since we launched this. All right. And I think it's cool. I know it's not exciting stuff, but I think it's stuff that is more relevant now than ever before. Insurance premiums are going through the roof. And folks, I got to tell you, man, it's not good. All right. I got some shit I'm going to unpack here today. It's not good, and it keeps getting worse. All right. And what do I mean by that? We keep paying more money for insurance and we're getting less in return. All right. And sooner or later, very soon, okay, this is coming to a town near you. All right. And that town is your wallet. All right. I'll explain that down the road, or maybe we'll hit on that a little bit today in the episode. Hey, so here we go. Fresh new start here, right? What do I mean by that? We're always looking to change the format up, keep it rich, keep it light. All right. I'd still like to see the question of the day thing come back. All right. If you were following us on the radio, we did that. I thought that was a great thing. It was a big success. People would call in. They'd answer the question. Again, was it a little bit of a gimmick? Of course. And I don't want no Googling out there either. Right. We had the question today. I don't want nobody Googling the answer. No. All right. Even though we can't guard against that. I mean, who knows? Right? I'm sure people Google everything today. Right. Which brings me to another thing. How the hell are they running these, like BAB? How are they doing this today? Think about it, right? They run these radio contests and they tell you to call in, be the fifth caller with the right answer. And so what's the challenge now? I guess the challenge is what? You just got to be the fifth caller, right? Because you're going to get the answer right. They got to know you're Googling it. So they should just make it be the fifth caller challenge instead of, getting the subject matter right. I don't know. I just thought about that. I said, that's got to be a dead ringer anymore. Competition like that. I mean, come on. Everybody's going to Google this shit. So I think what we're going to do then, all right, to lighten it up, all right, let's keep it light because this is some dry shit here. I get it. All right, we're going to apply a little more leverage here. All right, not leverage. It's the wrong word. All right, levity. I like that. Okay, so we're going to run through a couple little things here that I discovered. I think they're funny. I think it's hysterical. Some of it might be dated. Hey, I don't know. What do I know? Right? So here we go. All right. I thought this was really funny shit. All right. But like I said, I know I'm prehistoric. I'm going to end up in the Smithsonian here soon. But let's go with it. Right. What the hell? Can't hurt. Anytime you put comedy in, can't hurt. People laugh. People feel better. So why do doctors leave the room while you change? I think this is funny shit. They're going to see you naked anyway. Think about that. Is that funny? I think it's funny. Why is bra singular and panties plural? There's another good one. Why do toasters always have a setting that burns the toast to a horrible crisp, which no decent human being would ever want to eat? Right? Now, hopefully some people are scratching their head right now and laughing. But think about that one. Do you ever look at your toaster? I mean, folks, this thing goes up I have a toaster. It's a shit box, all right? It really is. I mean, when I moved out of my house and I got separated, I had to get my own place. You know the whole thing there. I'm not going to go down the road. Most of us have probably lived that horror story. But at any rate, I'm like, oh shit, I need a toaster. So I bought this crap box toaster, right? It's a $10.99 special. You look at this thing, it toasts like shit, right? Whether you're on 1 or 10, this thing goes up to 12. I mean, I put this on 6 and the toast comes out black and burnt. Who's toasting on 12? I mean, where are we going? I mean, what are we toasting on level 12? I was, and then I saw this and I cracked up. I started laughing. If Jimmy cracks corn and no one cares, why is there a stupid song about him anyway? Jimmy crack corn and no one cares. Nobody knows that? I don't know. Maybe some people do out there. I thought that was hysterical, though, about the toaster. Go check it out. Look at your toaster. And I'm sure you'll start laughing. It's got like a rating of 12. What are we doing at 12? Can a hearse carrying a corpse drive in the carpool lane? Folks, this is deep shit, man. And you only get this on Crash Course. All right? You only get this kind of comedic intensity on Crash Course. All right? Check it out. Right here. You heard it first. All right? Some of this stuff is funny, and it also gets you thinking deeply. All right? We got philosophical vibes going here on Crash Course today. All right? If the professor on Gilligan's Island, this is fucking hysterical. Anybody know what Gilligan's Island is? I mean, some people are probably like, what the fuck is this guy doing? If the professor on Gilligan's Island can make a radio out of a coconut, all right, which he did on one of the episodes, why can't he fix a hole in the boat? I never understood that. That boat sat there for years and nobody ever thought about patching it up and pushing it back in the water. Why does Goofy stand erect while Pluto remains on all fours and they're both dogs? Folks, this is deep shit, man. I mean, if you don't even need to take a philosophy class after you listen to this today, all right? The Disney characters, they're both dogs, but one guy's walking around on 2 feet and the other one's always on all fours. Like, what is that? What's going on here? The toast setting of 12. I mean, all right, here's the last one of this episode. If Willie E. Coyote had enough money to buy all that Acme shit, why didn't he just buy dinner? All right. Folks, I'm telling you, man, you don't get this kind of philosophical intensity. You don't even get this in college, man, but you're getting it here on Crash Course. All right? Ponder some of that shit tonight. All right? Preferably ponder some of those things we just talked about, while you're drinking or smoking. All right? And then it'll really add to the intensity. All right. So hopefully that was a little fun. What are we going to talk about today? There's always interesting stuff coming down the pike. Even though it's dry shit, I get insurance, body shop, all that, folks. But we are the bar none. I've said this forever too. We truly are All right. The voice of the people. I'm just going to leave it at that. I've said we're the voice of the auto body industry, right? The independent. We are. But more importantly, we are the voice of the people. All right. Now, I'm not saying power to the people. We're not going down that road. But we really are, and I really think that, the things that are said here, the points that are made, the information that's laid out there, again, it's not, it's not stuff that you're going to go and walk away with and make money on, or decide on what kind of car. Well, you might decide on what kind of car. But I think when you sit down and you digest this stuff and you listen to me and you think about it, especially in the context of what the hell is going on today. Like, in fact, what is going on today? And I'm not talking about how crazy batshit the world is getting. I'm talking about in context of body shop and insurance industry. All right? Because there's a lot of stupid shit that's rolling out there. And it's rolling out fast and furious. All right? And it's not good. And it's very destructive. Again, folks, if you're hearing me in different parts of the country, I apologize, all right? Because I can only speak on behalf of what goes on in New York, all right? And with respect to New York State insurance laws and regulations, and also, about the insurance industry and how it's conducted here. I'm somewhat familiar with other parts of the country, but for the most part, obviously, I can only pontificate about what happens here. All right? Word of the day, pontification. Go check that out. All right? Just like bloviating. It's another one. All right. So this is interesting. All right. Before we get into the meat and potatoes here, about some stuff that's going on that you folks need to know about. All right. And I touched on some of this last week, but check this out. All right. They say that, I always like to make the point, I think back in the 90s and it came out, information is power, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. That's what we say to that. All right. Information really isn't power. Okay. It's only, what, Spikey? Uh-oh. Spikey's getting worked up, man. You know what that means. So listen up. All right. Information is power. Yeah, it is. But guess what? Here at Crash Course, we're going to tell you something different. It's only powerful if you know what the hell to do with it. And we're going to go one more step, folks. If you know what to do with it and can do something about it. All right. Otherwise, you could be the smartest person in the room. And if you got no pull, no influence, no ability to spread the word, so to speak, then you might as well be the dumbest person. Okay. And I don't, listen, everybody's got their own perspective on that. Take it from an old fart. Okay. Who's been around the world a lot, worked for many different corporations. I'm telling you right now, that's the truth. Cold hard truth, folks. All right. For the most part. Listen, are there exceptions? Of course there's exceptions. Right? There's exceptions. I get that. But for the most part, it's a pretty black and white, cruel world out there when it comes to that. All right? So the old thing about knowledge is power and all that bullshit. That's what we say. It's only powerful if you can do something with it. Right? And that's in the context of a lot of things, right? You could have a lot of knowledge about something that could potentially make you money, but if you have no way to put that knowledge to work, then you might as well be, deaf, dumb, and blind, I guess, right? So the same thing in the context of business. Same thing, folks. All right? Could be the smartest guy or girl in the room, but guess what? If you have no way of communicating that, or if you have no way of influencing anything that goes on, all right, then that knowledge or that information that you have, who cares? All right. Same thing in the insurance and auto body industry. Okay. You could have knowledge, right? And information. Crash course. Hello. Right? Hello. Crash course, right? We give you knowledge and information you need and can use. What do we mean by you can use? Well, what I just said. So we're going to package that shit, give it to you, and then we're going to let you know how you can use that. Phenomenal, right? And you get it all here for nothing. We don't charge you anything here. It's all free. You come to Crash Course and you get smart, and it doesn't cost you a penny. I mean, come on. Is there anything better than that? I don't think so. We don't think so. All right. So I want to talk about just something really. This came across the ticker tape, my ticker tape. And I thought this was hysterical. All right, you know, we got the tariffs out there and all this other shit that's been going on since day one. And it's amazing to me, you know, again, knowledge and information, okay? The levels of stupidity in this country continue to surpass anybody's expectations. They really do. I mean, we got guys out there today that, you know, so-called PhDs in, you know, economics. I got a PhD in economics. I got another thing that PhD stands for, and it's got nothing to do with economics. I'll just leave it at that. But, you know, and they actually have the balls to go out there. I have a PhD. I am an economics, I'm an economic expert. And then they go and they lie right to your face. They bullshit you. And you know why they bullshit you? Because they know people are either too lazy, all right, or too stupid, all right, to take the time to go actually check out shit anymore today, to actually open up a book and look at these things. And they just figure they're going to listen to what I have to say because I have a PhD. I'm an economics expert. Well, I'll tell you what you're an expert in, but it's got nothing to do with economics. Okay. So here we go again. All right. Now, this is in the context. Hey, you're out there listening to me. You're in the body shop industry. You're in the dealership industry, car industry. Listen up. All right. Listen up. Spiky, I know, man. I just told him, listen up. So this guy writes an article here, and he's talking about how the tariffs, you know, they're impacting the auto industry. Greg Horn, I don't know who the hell this guy is, Chief Industry Relations Officer at Parts Trader, right? If anybody out there and you're in the industry, you know Parts Trader, partstrader.com. He says tariffs are affecting the automotive industry in unexpected places, right? So he goes on to try and claim that the data revealed that retail pricing for OEM parts are rising, but aftermarket parts have not yet. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. Parts Trader expects aftermarket prices to begin rising as existing domestic inventories. So this is the new thing now you're hearing. All right, Powell's running around out there beating the war drum about it, and he's not going to rate. We're not rolling rates and all sorts of shit because we're afraid of tariff inflation, which is bullshit. Okay. One thing we're really good at, I think George Carlin used to say this. One thing we're really good at here in America is bullshit. We are the king of bullshit. Okay, and the way the bullshit is packaged today has changed, but it's still bullshit. All right, and it gets spread a lot more quicker and a lot more effectively, but it's a lot of bullshit. Okay, this is bullshit. All right, now I'm no PhD in economics. I did study economics. I did have a minor in it. So these people would have you believe that because of tariffs now, okay, we're getting all kinds of problems with parts. Okay. 44% of OEM parts used in collision repair are produced outside the United States. Folks, 44%, okay? I know, Spike. Listen up. You can't make this shit up. Then he's going to go on and tell us that we're getting increases in parts prices for parts on cars, for aftermarket shit, right? If we have to put parts on cars aftermarket. Okay. The reason why we're getting parts increases, folks, is because the shit is made somewhere else. It's not even made here. Almost 50% of the shit that we use to make the cars that we drive is all made all over the place. It's not made here. Okay? It's a ripoff. Like I said, bullshit. The way we package it, we're experts at it. This is bullshit. Now you want to piss and moan to me that the prices are going up on parts for OEM cars? And aftermarket shit? Of course it is. Because 90% of the aftermarket shit is made in Taiwan, Korea, and God knows where else in between. Detroit Axle is an aftermarket manufacturer of mechanical components often used in collision repair, control arm, strut strap, blah, blah. The company plans to file for... They're filing for Chapter 11. Folks, they're filing for Chapter 11 because their entire business model relied on cheap shit. Okay? Cheap shit. Getting imported from China. Who knows where else? Okay? Cheap shit. They import here and then they sell it to us, dummies, dumbasses, and we buy it. And now they go on to say that they're going to try and sue the administration, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's a ripoff. It's all lies. It's all bullshit. Okay, remember, bullshit is one of the things that we do really well in America. Now, how we package that bullshit has gotten has changed. It's gotten better. Okay. It looks more realistic. It sounds more realistic, and it's more flashy, but it's still bullshit. Okay. So this is bullshit. All right. You heard it first here. Spiky told you to listen up. It's incredible. You can't make this stuff up anymore, folks. If you're building all of the shit that we need and use in our country is made all over everywhere else. And when they bring it back here, they have the balls to sell it to us as if it was made here. We ain't saving any money. Wake up, folks. We're getting ripped off as usual. Okay? Robbed. That's what's happening. So that's what we say to that. Tough shit. You're going out of business? Too bad. You should have had somebody in America make your shit, and you'd still have a business. All right. Now that that's off my chest. You heard it first here on Crash Course, though. Remember, we're giving you information and knowledge you need and can use. And believe me when I tell you, you need to hear that. All right. So what do we got here? We have, what do we got? This is in Fender Bender this week. Future of small collision shops is at stake. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're not going to get into that, though. All right. I'm going to touch on a couple things here. I alluded to this earlier. All right. And this goes along with the information and knowledge you need and can use. All right. And, folks, I've been beating this drum for I don't know how long. And I'm going to continue to beat it until either Crash Course is no longer, or I'm no longer, or whatever comes first. Because it really, 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 it needs to be said again and again and again. I don't know. Like I said, I know our YouTube hits keep going up. All right. At one point, we got to over 100,000 views. That is fantastic. I love that. All right. Let's keep it up. Keep spreading the word. And I'm only hoping that, a lot of it is local. I hope that a lot of you guys out there are from Long Island. I hope Suffolk County, Nassau County. I mean, hell, even New York State. All right. Because we're all in the same boat here. What am I talking about? I'm talking about what the insurance industry is doing, folks. What they're doing is not helping us. All right. Now, I don't want to hear shit that I work for the insurance company. Good for you. I did too. I was in that industry for 30 years. That doesn't mean I believed in the business model or I believed in the processes that they were putting in place. No. Now, of course, I worked there. Did I have to work in that framework? Of course I did. But I have the luxury of not being there anymore. So now I can speak the truth, which is what we do here, right? Unbiased, unfiltered information. All right. Advice you can use and you can trust. Advice you can trust. So, another big insurance company that will remain anonymous, okay, has just saw fit to fire all of their independent adjusters. Now, what does that mean, right? Again, you're scratching your head going, great. What the hell do I give a shit? It has nothing to do with me. Well, it does have something to do with you. So they saw fit to fire them all, right? They're going to bring in some staff guys, company guys, only a handful, maybe 4, 5, 6, spread them out around the country. These guys are going to sit in their underwear in a closet somewhere and sip Mai Tais and who knows what else, and then tell everybody what they're not going to get paid for. I'm not kidding you, folks. I'm shitting you not. Okay, so when you hear me talk about this, and I know everybody wants to say, well, this has got nothing to do with me, man. I just pay my premium, blah, blah, blah. No problem. But trust me when I tell you, this is coming to a wallet near you. All right, your wallet. So they get rid of all the independents, right? Not going to use independents. Independent adjusting companies, which they would typically utilize when you have a claim, all right? And they would send these guys out, much like I did for years with the big companies. And I've explained this before in other episodes, right? Their job, they're highly trained people. They have, most of them have a lot of experience. They're very technically oriented. They understand the regulation inside and out. And their job is to represent you, not the insurance company. In fact, when this initially rolled out, folks, many years ago, there were very few company appraisers. It was all independent guys. And the reason why the system was set up like that is because they are there. This is what nobody gets. Okay, listen up. Spiky, tell them. Listen up. Hello. They're there. Contrary to what they're going to tell you, Your adjuster is there to represent your interests. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, he's hired by the insurance company, all right, to go out and adjust your car. So what is he doing, right? Or she, right? Because there's a lot of women in that business now. He or she is going there to deliver the promise. Folks, listen up. To deliver the promise that they made you when you open your wallet to pay them. So he or she is not there looking out for the insurance company. Now, I know some guys are going to say, well, that's bullshit. Come on, man. They saw my paycheck and blah, blah, blah. Terrific. No problem, pal. They saw your paycheck. New York State doesn't look at it that way. All right. If you work in New York State, you have an IA, an independent adjuster license. That means you're expected to do the right thing on behalf of the insured and the claimant. All right. If you and me files a claim against some other jackass that hit you or injured you, the same principles apply, folks. I need people to wake up and get this through their head. This is important shit. All right? So the insurance companies have fired these people. Fired them. Got rid of them overnight. Like that. Goodbye. All right? So there is now no independent mediator in this process. They are literally destroying the process. Used to be bad enough where they would contain the process, right? But be jackasses. All right? But that was okay. The process was still intact. All right? The ethical process was intact. That's gone. They're blowing this up, folks. This is very critical for you and I because now that independent person is gone. So now it's the insurance company is dictating to you. Well, you can even say your body shop, right? And you're going to say, well, that's my body shop. I dropped the car off. And they say, well, no problem. But guess what? When they start telling the insurance company starts telling your body shop, we're not paying for the scans that the car needs. Well, what do you mean? Yeah, we don't pay for that. That's cost of doing business. Well, actually, it isn't, though, because I can't put the car on the road. That's your problem, man. You're in that line of work. You got to expect this thing. You got to, if you can't, and send it out, let an outside company come in and do it. So we're not going to pay for scans. So now your car can't get back on the road safely, right? Or maybe you can't even drive. I mean, in a lot of cases, you can't even get the car to turn over anymore. All right. So that whole process has been blown up. All right. And this kills me. This kills me. I mean, my head blows up. All right. I mean, I really grind my gears over this shit. And this stuff is going to impact you, folks. Okay? It's going to impact you. All right, so let's stop playing games. All right, let's start paying attention. Let's start keeping our eye on the ball here. All right, let's start speaking up. All right, that's what we're doing for you here at Crash Course. We're looking out for you. We're going to tie things up here. Before we go, we want to give a amazing shout out. And by the way, next episode, I promise we're going to continue on this. We're going to get more into the weeds on what exactly it is going on and why this is going to impact your wallet, your pocketbook. Okay? I just wanted to throw this out there, kind of shake things up, get people thinking about what the hell's happening behind the scenes because your agent ain't going to tell you this, folks. State Farm, Allstate, they're not going to tell you that. They're only going to tell you shit. They're going to tell you, here you go. Got your policy, man. Great. It's awesome. You're in good hands. I'm a good neighbor, and good luck. That's what they should probably tell you as you walk out the door and they take your check. But we're going to get into the weeds on that next episode. Before we go, I want to say V&J Auto Body. Woo! Do we love V&J Auto Body? I mean, what an amazing place, folks. If you're in need of this kind of stuff, right? If you need body work or you've been involved in an accident, you have to file an insurance claim, then you need to give the good folks at V&J Auto Body a call, 631-226-0070. And guess what? Yours truly works there. You get to see me. How cool is that? This is a state-of-the-art facility, folks. Okay, you've heard me speak about this, and we're going to continue to speak. I can't say enough about them. They have supported this from the beginning, this project, Crash Course. V&J Auto Body is just a very progressive shop in the sense that you have one eye on the present and one eye down the road. And what does that mean for you? Hey, we all know what these cars are today, right? They're an extension of what? Well, not our personality anymore, but they're an extension of the technology that we use and interact with, right? All these cars have so much technology in them today. Some of it for safety, some of it for convenience. But the bottom line is that if you end up in a place that doesn't realize this, doesn't appreciate it, or just doesn't have the capital, the wherewithal, the training, all right, you can be in a big mess. All right, so don't let that happen. If you need that kind of work, go to VandJAutobody.com. Check it out. They have amazing videos there. They have in-process videos. I can't say enough. And we have a 50,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility alongside our original 25,000 square foot facility. All right, we have a standalone blueprinting area. We have a standalone technology center where all of the post-calibrations, pre-calibrations are done to make sure that your car is safely put back together and certified to be back on the road again. And you're only going to get that level of service at V&J Auto Body. All right, so give V&J Auto Body a call when you need that type of work. All right, if you're involved in an accident, folks, you know what we say here. You should be calling us before you speak to them. All right, so in this case here, if you get in an accident, and God forbid, but if anybody's hurt, then take care of that first. But do not call the insurance guys. Instead, you're going to call V&J Auto Body, and they're going to help you out from start to finish. We have in-house 24/7 towing. We go anywhere, anytime to get your car. We'll even deliver a rental car to you and pick up your damaged car. We have 24/7 concierge service. What does that mean? Hey, man, if you got to drop the car off to me and you need to get to the rail for work, no problem. One of our chauffeurs will get you there in time, and you'll be able to be on your way. V&J Auto Body. Can't say enough, folks. Give them a call. All right, man. We'll see everybody in the next episode.